the spiritual discipline, my only solace came from reading the Word of God, from Genesis to Revelation, over and over again. Every day was a struggle of faith. I struggled to believe that the process was still the perfect will of God for me. I struggled to believe that I really was a sinner and that I was recuperating from my spiritual disease for the lack of faith. That was to justify my present pains and at least lighten my burden of loneliness. On January 8, 1999, I gave ACQ a resignation letter and I requested for a fare so that I can travel back to my home in my province. He did not approve my resignation letter. I pleaded to Ingrid, and like a child, I cried for help. But she remained untouched, telling me that it was a divine process. After that conversation, misery doubled. I had no money, and I was still physically weak. So there was no way for me to go out from the compound of the prayer mountain. Waiting for the restoration was the only alternative at the moment. If not for the comforting words of God, surely I would be totally gone out of my mind. They continually accused me of sins they alone knew, unimagined, that would always lead me into fasting. It eventually hardened my heart because I started to realize that the purpose of doing it was to totally break me down and to even slowly kill me. I no longer saw the reason to stay. I submitted my resignation as a full-time volunteer worker for the second time. But Apollo Carrion Quiboloy refused it again. A week later, on September 30, 1999, I decided to leave without asking for permission, determined to free myself from his control. It was only when I left out of the group, that I finally clearly understood that the man I had believed to be God's chosen and holy was an impostor, oppressor, and deceiver. He manipulated me using his authority and power as God's anointed. I thank God that he took me out from his bondage, from that ambiguous feeling of fear mingled with so much love and loyalty to my Redeemer, Jesus Christ. But he was not finished with me and did not stop terrorizing me. Alex Camia, his personal bodyguard, a full-time worker, once known to be a champion in gun shooting before he joined the group of ACQ, together with his team, kept coming to my place to harass me, serving a fake warrant of arrest to a minister who stayed in my house. This minister settled in my place after he was gunned down in Davao City but survived. The team of Alice Camia was apprehended, and when investigated, they had several firearms in the car, several plate numbers, and there was also a red plate. The registered owner of the car was Apollo C. Quiboloy. Because of their failure to serve the warrant of arrest, they blamed me for hiding the minister and filed cases against me of obstructing justice and grave misconduct and an act on becoming a public official. After that incident, I heard that Alex Camia was the suspect of the murder of an ex-worker who was shot down inside his home, and this ex-worker did not survive. I was scared to death when I heard this news. My option was to remain silent because killing could have actually happened when Camia and his group came to my place. There was also an ex-worker, Elsa Bolivar, who was a senior citizen, a woman shot dead while she was in her garden in Tagum City. I was so hysterical when pictures of her bullet-ridden body were sent to me because she had just visited me in my place before it happened. Fear consumed me and I remained silent. 3 years ago, nagkausap po kami ni Alex Camia. Humingi po siya ng kapatawaran at nagsabi na siya ay nautusan lang po na kailangan din akong iligpit. Pinaniwala po siya na ako ay may malaking kasalanan at ako ay napakasamang babae. Nang tinanong ko kung ano ang aking kasalanan, sinabihan daw siya na tinukso ko raw si Apollo ayon Quiboloy. Nakiapid daw ako sa mga ministro. Narinig naman po ninyo yung sa video. Nakipagtalik daw ako mismo doon sa workers' house at nagnakaw daw ako ng 3 million pesos. He even said in Bisaya, di ba nagtugot man ang Ginoo pagpatay sa dautan? Doesn't God permit the killing of the wicked? Doon ko lang naintindihan na kailangang i-declare ni Apollo Quiboloy sa lahat ng mga workers at members na ako'y makasalanan at napakasamang babae para magiging makatwiran ang lahat ng parusa na binigay sa akin at magiging makatwiran din kung bakit ako kailangang patayin. Apollo Quiboloy called me Jezebel, the temptress, using his pulpit to broadcast how filthy and evil I was. This became a pattern. Kung may mga workers na may alam sa kaniyang buhay, sa sikretong buhay at aalis sa kanyang kingdom, sila ay akusahan na napakaraming kasalanan. He would always exaggerate their weaknesses at ipaniwala sa mga workers at members na sila ay umalis dahil may mga marumi at mga napakasamang mga tao. His followers only heard his side of the story, which was always filled with lies and twisted truths. The other side, our side, was never heard and was never allowed to be heard. They only believed whatever he fed them and even defended him and attacked those who defied their leader without investigating the truthfulness of the circumstances. Nakita naman po siguro natin kung paano siniraan ng mga workers at defenders ni Apollo Quiboloy ang mga testigo dito. Mga napakasamang descriptions para lang ipahiya ang mga nagsalita ng kanilang mga karanasan sa loob ng kanilang kingdom. Mga salitang hindi nababagay sa mga tinatawag na mga citizen ng kingdom of Jesus Christ. Their intention is only to demoralize and warn others of the consequences of defiance. Last August 2021, during one of his television programs, he once again maligned me, broadcasting nationally and internationally that I was a fornicator and an immoral woman, which we have just watched. Madam Chair, I would like to remind Mr. Quiboloy to remember the biblical stories about the lives of King Nebuchadnezzar, King Sennacherib, and King Herod. All of them fell into the hands of the Lord. Nebuchadnezzar, you know that, was separated from his people and lived like a beast and ate grass for 7 years. King Sennacherib died a tragic death, murdered by his own sons. King Herod was struck by the angel of God, died, and his body was eaten by worms. Their sin was that they replaced God with themselves, considering themselves as gods and blaspheming the one true God. This is all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Salamat po, Ms. Teresita, sa testimonya mo. Kahit kailangan mong iyakan para basahin sa amin. Bago yung isa munang follow-up question ko sa inyo, gusto kong i-acknowledge yung presensya online ni Senator Cynthia Villar. Salamat, Senator Cynthia, sa pagdalo nyo. At ang Minority Leader Senator Coco Pimentel. Salamat kaayo sa pagdalo. Kung walang opening statement si Senator Coco at si Senator Cynthia, bago yung interjection ni Majority Leader sa Department of Justice, isang mabilis na follow-up question sa ngayon, Ms. Teresita o Ms. Ging, Ate Ging, just for the record, guilty ba kayo dun sa mga krimen na inakusa sa inyo? Yung pagnakaw ng 3 million pesos, yung pag-fornicate sa iba pang mga ministro, guilty ba kayo sa mga iyon?
Of course not.
Alright, salamat ka. Majority Leader, for your interjection with the
Thank you, Madam
DOJ.
Chair. Nothing to do with the previous testimony. Magpapaalam po kasi ako kasi magsasalita po ako sa Liga ng mga Barangay and the Minority Leader is already here to fill up some legal questions likewise. But Madam Chair, before I leave, gusto ko lang tanungin ang hindi ko kasi nakita kanina, dito pala ang Department of Justice. Relative to my previous questions answered by the DFA, this is speculative, academic, and purely legal. If wherever if an extradition request is lodged before the DFA, there is under the PD, which I cited before, a process which would necessitate the Department of Justice to file a petition. But that is another court. And that is another court which would constitute as the extradition court here in the Philippines. And if there is going to be an extradition hearing, the purpose is not to determine the guilt or innocence of the accused, but whether they would fall under the ambit of our extradition treaty. Is that correct? Who will answer? Attorney Torribillas or Attorney Quintana? Speculative lang ito. Ano lang to?
Senior State Counsel Quintana, I believe, Majority Leader.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, Your Honor. As to the as to what will happen on, should the Department of Foreign Affairs later on receive a request for the extradition of Mr. Quiboloy and the present criminal cases are filed against him, the Philippines as a requested state under the Philippines U.S. extradition treaty has the option to postpone the filing of the extradition case, in which case
postponed.
Only the filing, Your Honor.
But is the extradition court would be constituted here in the Philippines?
Yes, Your Honor.
Not necessarily the court where the hearing is being
Yes,
conducted.
it would be a separate proceeding, and as I mentioned, it might be postponed, or we can accept the request and file the case in a separate extradition
It
case.
will not be a criminal court.
No, Your Honor. As you correctly pointed out earlier, the extradition court is not there to determine the guilt or innocence of the subject of the request.
Thank you, Attorney. But my second question is related to the first question and to the previous questions. The extradition shall not be granted under Article 4 when the person sought has been tried, convicted, or acquitted. Tama po ba yun? So pag may pending case na rito at mabilis yung proseso, conviction or acquittal, hindi na siya pwedeng i-extradite. Is that correct?
Your Honor, under Article 4, that may be a ground for refusal of the request for extradition, but that in that case, so Your Honor, ang ano po dun parang in effect parang double jeopardy. But in this instance po, there is no double jeopardy kasi po yung...
Saying double jeopardy, one of the grounds for refusal would be when there has been a trial, conviction, or acquittal that's explicitly stated under Article 4 prior prosecution. Double jeopardy will not apply because of the concept of dual sovereignty. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, ang tanong ko, mas makakabuti ba na mas mabilis ang trial sa Pasig, which would result in either conviction or acquittal dahil hindi na pwedeng ma-extradite?
Sir, it's independent of the request for extradition. So, regardless if the criminal cases are terminated, are expedited, it will not affect the extradition request.
Siguro, aralin niyo buti itong Section 1 ng Article 4. Parang very explicit naman ito. You still have time. Number 3 question, I learned that correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure you're following this through news accounts, that the Department of Justice of the United States dismissed the charges against a certain Miss Dueñas. Tama po ba yun?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, and this was just a few weeks ago.
Last week, Your Honor.
Last week.
October 7.
So, ang tanong ko rito, and this will probably be a lingering question, what would be the effect of the dismissal of the U.S. cases against, is Dueñas a miss or a male? Ano ba yan?
He.
Female? She? Female. What would be the effect of the dismissal of the U.S. cases against Ms. Dueñas to the pending cases of Pastor Quiboloy in the Philippines, since some of the elements would be the same?
Your Honor, if I may defer to Prosecutor
Torrevillas.
Deputy State Prosecutor Torrevillas, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, Senator Tolentino. It will not affect the cases pending against Pastor Quiboloy, considering that Ms. Dueñas is not one of the accused in those cases.
One of the accused in cases pending before the Regional Trial Court here in Pasig or in the United States Department of Justice? Saan po? Saan jurisdiction?
Before the Regional Trial Court of Pasig and Quezon City, Mr. Senator.
So it won't affect.
Yes.
But there is an interrelationship between the elements involved in the U.S. cases and the Philippine cases. Tama po ba yan? And probably I'm not jumping the gun on what the defense counsels were doing. So walang effect. As I've said, this is just speculative.
It will not affect the cases pending before the Regional Trial Court of Quezon City and the Regional Trial Court of Pasig because Ms. Dueñas is not one of the accused. Neither she one of the witnesses for the prosecution.
But some of the defendants in the case pending before the U.S. Department of Justice are likewise defendants here, are accused here in the Philippines. And I understand there would be a second hearing come May 20 before the U.S. Department of Justice. Tama po ba yun?
I am not aware of that.
Okay. So paano naman kung yun ang magkaroon ng ibang desisyon while pending dito sa Pasig and Quezon City yung ibang kaso? Any speculative answer? O kung wala, mahirap na
It
siguro.
has no connection at all
connection
because,
at all.
opo.
Different jurisdictions, different elements. Again, Madam Chair, maraming salamat po sa pagbibigay sa akin ng pagkakataong makapagsalita. I reiterate again my earlier statements that respect and dignity should permeate the entire proceedings today. And I hope that the dignity of the Senate through this committee will be enshrined, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat po sa pagkakataong ito at maraming salamat sa mga resource persons natin na dumalo. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Dagang salamat.
Maraming salamat din po, Majority Leader, and of course, the Chair and the whole committee ay nakikiisa dun sa patuloy na pagtaguyod ng respeto at dignidad ng Senado at ng Senado para sa lahat ng lumalahok dito sa ating mga pagdinig. So balikan po natin si Ms. Teresita, si Ate Ging, mga patuloy po na follow-up questions ko sa inyong testimonya kanina. So, batay po pa rin po dun sa testimonyang binasa nyo kanina. Anong taon nga po kayo sinimulang abusuhin ayon sa inyong testimony at alaala?
It was in October of 1993.
October of 1993. So 31 years ago po.
Yes po.
Alright. Tapos ulitin ko lang po yung nabalitaan kong fasting o dry fast. So hindi kayo pinakain, hindi kayo pinainom ng tubig. Ilang araw nga po ba ginawa ito sa inyo? At wala po bang kasamahan ninyo doon na sinubukang tulungan kayo?
Of course, nobody would ever dare help me because upon instruction na hindi nga ako and they were not even allowed to talk to me, nor even to come near to me. So actually there were two sets of fasting given to me. One set was, there was 10 days fasting. There was no food, no water. It was Ninet Ukyas who gave me the list of instruction. And number one in the list is to do dry fast for straight 10 days.
Sino po nagbigay ng instruction?
Ninet Ukyas.
Nenet Okyas.
Yeah.
Okay po.
And then, I only was able to eat a little amount of rice and viand on the 39th day because when you had fasted, hindi naman kailangan kakain ka agad. So there was water, then then lugaw, and then finally on the 39th day, that was the time I was able to eat rice. And then after that, there was that second round of fasting, which was even more miserable. It started on February 6, 1999, and there were other workers also. And that was very miserable because it was like this. We were given 5 days or sometimes 7 days. It was a kind of a series of fasting. The first, second, third days were for dry fasting, meaning you were not allowed to drink, of course, to eat food, dry foods. And on the fourth, sometimes it's water, sometimes it's sometimes it's lugaw. Then another 5 days, the same pattern. Sometimes it became 7. It ended on the it ended on the month of May because I have my diary on that.
So yung pangalawang dry fasting, 3 buwan na may iba't ibang klaseng fasting for 5 days or 7 days, 1 to 3 days na dry fasting.
Yes.
On the 4th day may tubig o yung yung pinakuluan ng sinaing, di ba? Yung pinapainom ng mga lolo't lola natin sa mga baby nung panahon ng World War II.
Yung sabaw ng ano po.
Sabaw. Sabaw ng lugaw. Or lugaw. So over 3 months, may ganitong series ng mga iba't ibang klase ng dry fasting.
Yes po. But I was together with other workers also because they were also punished. But I was the longest. I stayed there for the longest 3 months.
And yung una pong dry fast, yung unang set ng pagpapadry fast sa inyo na 10 araw, walang pagkain, walang tubig. 10 araw na walang tubig at 10 araw na walang pagkain?
Yes po, that's true.
Paano niyo po na-survive yun?
I did not even think I would survive.
Opo.
Because of course, the place was cold. And then every time in the morning when I took a bath, so parang doon ko na lang nalalasap yung tubig. Kaya I keep taking a bath 3 times a day.
Iniinom nyo na lang yung
Halos, hindi ko mainom
tubig
kasi
pampaligo.
natatakot ka namang baka masira yung tiyan mo. Parang ganun lang, parang...
And after 39 days, ganun ulit. Pinainom muna kayo ng tubig, ng and then pinakain ng lugaw, and finally, kanin.
Yes, on the 39th day. But there was a month, I think it was month of December, may kinain na rin ako doon. Kaya lang, again, maybe they were not satisfied with the result. Maybe they wanted me to really slowly kill me. So again, I had another series of fasting that was, as what I have said, it started on February 6th and ended on the month of May.
During those 2 times po, yung dalawang set ng dry fasting, yung unang 10 araw at yung pangalawang umabot ng 3 buwan, nakakulong kayo noon or were you restrained in any way?
No, I was just there in the mountain, in the prayer mountain, not really kulong, but the place is big naman. So I had to go to the prayer house. I had to pray, I think 3 times a day. 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 4 times a day. 4 and then 6 o'clock in the evening.
And kanina sabi nyo dun sa pangalawang set ng dry fasting sa inyo, over 3 months, may ibang workers pa kayong kasama, bagamat hindi sila kasing tagal na pinadry fast tulad ninyo. Bukod dyan sa pagpapadry fast, yung ganyang abuso sa inyo, meron ka bang na-witness na iba pang mga pang-aabuso sa iba pang workers?
Yes po. Actually, there were workers who were placed in a closed tent. Parang Bartolina, ang tawag namin doon Bartolina. They were placed in a closed tent. There were even torches placed around because during the evening they would put fire on the torches, and then they put and feed inside the tent, closed tent. And then, of course, they suffered too much heat in daytime and the colds in the evening. But eventually, they managed to escape one by one. But the only one who survived, she was rescued because she was dehydrated already.
So the only one who survived, na-rescue,
Yeah, it was Lani Alfaro.
dehydrated, si Miss Lani Alfaro. Ano po nangyari dun sa ibang nag-escape dun sa mga tents na yon?
Actually, because there were ministers who were also used as their security guards, they were actually helped by the ministers to just escape.
So may mga minister din naman na naawa sa kanila at
Meron din po.
tinulungan silang makatakas.
Yes po.
Okay. Tapos, Ms. Teresita Atiging, tama po ba na naging subject kayo ng attempted assassination? Ito po ba yung sinabing ginawa ng angel of death?
Of course, I would really think that way because I was just a mere worker, a civilian. And then why would these people come to my place, bring those firearms. They were there. And if it was only to serve the warrant of arrest for my co-ministers, why would they have a backup car? And I was made to believe that it was really their intention to harass me and to terrorize me in my place.
May dala po silang warrant of arrest? Saan
Yes.
galing po yung warrant ngayon?
As I have stated, there was actually one minister who had a problem, no? Then he was gunned down in Davao City. Then I actually helped him settled in my place. And then
Ito po yung nag-survive ng assassination attempt.
survived. Then he was served by that warrant of arrest. And then, because he was in my house, I helped him actually.
So nung pumunta yung mga may dalang firearms at may backup vehicle, yung sineserve nilang warrant ay para dun sa nag-survive sa assassination attempt na kinupkup nyo.
Yes po, actually para sa kanya. But I was made to believe that ako rin, pwede rin nila akong patayin. Bakit? Because there was one time, because that Alex Camia was with a policeman. Bakit kailangan nila akong parang i-scale nila yung opisina ko? Bakit parang tinitingnan nila kung nasaan ako doon? Kung ang gusto lang talaga, if they really wanted the warrant of arrest to be served with that person, why came to my office? For what? So
Yung Alex Camia ay may kasamang pulis o siya mismo ay pulis o PNP?
no, he was with a policeman, an official policeman during that time. At saka meron din po siyang kasamang siyempre driver. At saka, because I only learned later that there were two vehicles actually, but during those times, isa lang ang alam ko. Nung nakausap ko yung backup driver, kasi he is with me now, doon ko lang nalaman na may backup driver, may backup vehicle pala sila.
Ngayon, Ms. Teresita at Tiging, pioneering member po kayo ng
Yes.
KOJC. Alam nyo rin po ba yung business model ng fundraising ninyo at paano ito nagsimula? Sinabanggit nyo, naging head kayo ng logistics, kayo po nag-organize ng mga caroling, yung mga solicitation. Paano po yun nagsimula at anong alam niyo dun sa kabuuang business model?
Yes po, the caroling really had become, or maybe has even until now become, one of the sources of funds in the ministry. In 1988, I was able to join here in Manila, and we were only caroling the cities within the cities of the NCR. But when I was given the opportunity to lead the fundraising, I made it nationwide. I actually organized the nationwide caroling, Madam Chair. Then what happened? I had every province. I had leaders overseeing 70 to 100 carolers, including adults who would be cooking and washing their clothes. And in the NCR alone, we had, I think, 13 leaders overseeing 20 to 30 members also, do caroling from 8 o'clock in the morning to sometimes 10 o'clock in the evening, going around the cities of Manila, just caroling, all the people here in the Metro Manila. Then, because I had a quota of, it started with 10 million until it became 15 million. Of course, they also had a quota. I also gave them the quota to meet my total quota of 15 million.
So, sa bawat probinsya, nung ginawa nyo ng nationwide yung caroling, di na lang sa NCR, may isa kayong leader na bawat isa may 17 to 100 carolers. At dito naman sa NCR, kung saan kayo nagsimula, naging 13 leaders na may 20 to 30 members each. So, i-multiply lang po natin. So, sila po yung pinapatawan nyo noon ng quota para mabuo yung 10 to 15 million pesos. Ano po ito? Per day? Per week?
No, that's 1 month of
Per
caroling.
month.
Yep, yes.
Per month. And so 14 hours a day sila pwedeng nagka-carol, nag-fundraise 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yes po.
Ganun po katagal. Alright, dagang salamat Mr. Resita at Tiging. Please stay on sa hearing natin dahil yung mga kasama kong senador, mga kauban ko, including our minority leader, may have questions for you. Yes, the minority leader would like to interject now. You have the floor, Senator
Okay,
Coco.
Ma'am Ging, no? So, dito lang ako nababahala sa sinabi mo na dry fasting,
Yes
two
po.
times ang experiences mo. And sa experience mo, it was a form of punishment.
Very much a form of punishment. But it was actually disguised like a spiritual discipline on me.
Okay,
Because
pero it was presented still as a disciplinary measure.
Yes po.
But have you seen dry fasting as a form of a ritual or not as a form of a punishment? Is it also practiced there?
Actually, there were two meanings, no? Of course, when we were instructed to do dry fasting, we would always consider it as our sanctification, as our cleansing on us, because we would always believe that we were always made to believe that we were sinners, and we do accept that we were sinners. So we had to go through fasting.
In the two particular, sa mention mo kasi dalawa, ang particular
Yes, po.
cases, hindi ko na matandaan yung mga months. Pero in your particular case, punishment.
At first, I did not consider it as punishment.
Now, wag yung consider, how was it presented to you? You have to undergo dry fasting as a punishment?
Spiritual discipline on the first, talaga spiritual discipline.
Kung andun yung discipline, punishment. Di ba? Okay. Yung
Yes.
pangalawa,
Yes po.
yung pangalawa, was it what? A punishment also yung pangalawa?
Mas lalong punishment on the second round. Maybe
Okay.
because they saw me alive still kicking. It was not their intention to really see me alive.
Okay.
That's why I had my second series of fasting.
But sa observation mo, tagal ka dyan sa kingdom meron, you also undergo fasting as a part of a ritual, not as a punishment. Tama?
Yes, there were many times.
As severe as dry fasting?
No, mine was actually was the worst.
Yun yung mga fasting na alam natin, yung babawasan
Yes,
mo lang yung
yes,
quantity ng kakainin mo, siguro ganun, ano?
Yes,
Yun ba yung meaning ng, yun yung sa ritual?
Yes,
Okay.
ritual.
Ngayon sa karanasan mo, ikaw kasi obviously nag-survive ka nung dry fasting mo as punishment eh. Sa personal knowledge mo, meron kayong kasama sa KOJC na nag-suffer ng masamang consequence as a result of dry fasting as a form of punishment?
Wala naman akong
Wala kang
alam
alam.
because I left 1993. 1999
you
pa
left
po.
1993? When did you leave?
1999 pa po.
1999. Sige po. Pero sabi mo, founding member ka, so pero wala kayong nakita pala. Okay,
So far, wala.
kasi sana, kung meron, i-encourage natin sila ngayon na magreklamo sila because this might be a violation of the revised penal code. How is it enforced pala? How is it enforced? Sabi mo kasi, sa Prayer Mountain, you're free to roam around eh. Pwede kang gumalaw. So, paano kung super gutom ka na? Can you cheat? Can you cheat on the dry fasting punishment?
We were tempted to do that, but because we were so afraid, baka madagdagan pa yung araw pag malaman.
Okay, meron kang kinikwento na although hindi ikaw yung involved, sabi mo lang na may close tent, may mga ganon. Tapos may mga ministro na sila na mismo nagpatakas doon sa mga pinapanish, you know? So naawa na rin siguro sila na baka napaka-severe nung mga punishment. But you did not experience that eh. Kaya medyo, ano yan. Did you actually witness it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then did the ministers actually tell you na pinatakas namin ito si...
No, I was just told after those incidents when they got connected to me.
So kasi ang lumalabas na issue dito, Madam Chair, is if there is a religious group or an organized group na meron silang system of punishment, baka yung mga severity naman ng mga punishment, baka some of these punishments already cross the line, ano? Na they may amount to already violation of the revised penal code. Sige. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you also, Minority Leader. So, Mr. Resita, Ate Ging, again, salamat kaayo and please stay on for the rest of our hearing, lalo na kung may ibang mga issues na ma-raise na gusto rin naming itanong sa inyo. At this point po, our next witness is Yulia Tartova, a former pastoral and victim survivor of sexual abuse at the hands of Apollo Quiboloy. She's joining our hearing live from Ukraine. Just to refresh our memory, let's listen to Yulia's video, and after that, she is here to answer any other questions that we might have. So let's just view again Yulia's video at that time as Elias Sofia.
I was about 21 years old. It was 2014. And where did you stay? I stay in a dorm, like a building, a separate building. And most of the people there was Ukrainian.
Tell me how your relationship with Pastor Quiboloy developed or unfolded.
At first, our relationship was very good, very warm, very friendly. I didn't feel everything like, oh, he's like me. No, there's nothing about that. And transfer me in one room. I live with the Jack Roy. She's pastoral in one of the closest, like she's very close to pastor. And I live with her in one room. And little by little, some girls like Jack Roy and other girls of pastorals are Filipino. They used to fellowship to me like, are you ready to sacrifice everything to God, to the Father, like pastor? Of course, I already sacrificed. I leave my job, I leave my school, I leave my friends, my parents. I already sacrificed a lot of, so what do you mean? I cannot understand, because I already sacrificed, and it's the life that I choose and I live, and I believe that this is God's way for me. So, and they were just like, even your body you can sacrifice. When he see that there is no Ukrainian girls and I'm alone, so he start more and more to talk to me. Are you want to sacrifice? Are you want to sacrifice everything, even your body? That's very innocent. I really didn't, nobody talked to me like straightly, that this is what will happen. And I remember that time came, and Atejak came to me in the night, and she said, I want you to massage pastor's feet before he sleep. When Atejak called me for night to massage him, I didn't think that this is what will happen, even though I was nervous. And she saw that I'm crying, but I'm still do what they want me to do. I take a bath, I put this pajama, and I'm crying, I'm scaring, and it's night, and they put me, because I never stay in the pastor alone in the night, in the dark, and I was nervous. It was big room, and before room there is a little room. So Atejak lead me there, and she said, go in pastor's room. And I just stayed in this little room because I was scary and I was crying, and pastor was waiting for me till he realized that I'm not coming, and he by myself went out and pulled me in his room. And I was like scary, and he said like, massage my feet here, and then little by little, and I was very nervous, and it was dark. And suddenly he started to move my hands to put on his. He said, massage here, and I said, oh my God, okay. And I massaged. And after that, little by little, he just turned to me and he removed my clothes. And I even can, because I was very shocked. I was like, I cannot explain, because I was nervous. If this is what happened, he just removed my clothes and have.
Women below the age of 18 years old, were they also being used?
Yeah, I didn't know about this for how many years till before I left Philippines. I heard from other, like, she's very close to pastor. She grew up with him. She's a senior there, and she's pastoral. And I heard that, oh, you're crying, because I was complaining about this pastoral's ministry. And she said, oh, you're crying that you're pastoral. At least you're mature, but I become a pastoral in 12 years old. This is time when I was like shocked. The next day when I heard this, that become a pastoral and 12 years old, I started to fight with pastor and ask why. Is it normal?
Miss Yulia? Miss Yulia, I think your audio is still muted. Could you please unmute?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Miss Yulia. Thank you for joining us in the hearing.
Thank you.
Can
for
you hear
inviting-
us?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Yulia. Before some of my follow-up questions about the previous video and also with your presence with us today, could I just quickly ask, in the video you mentioned Jack Roy. Can you confirm if she is here today in the hearing? If she is to the right or to the left of Pastor?
I cannot hear.
You cannot
the
see?
video. Yeah, but she's present there. I saw her.
She's present. Is she to the right or to the left of Pastor?
I don't remember. I have to check.
You cannot see the video of the
Yeah,
there.
she's yeah.
Can you confirm where if Jack Roy is
right
here?
between Attain Grid and Ipoh.
So is she the one on camera right now with glasses?
Yes, she's the one.
So that's the Jack Roy you mentioned in your previous video.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Miss Yulia. How many Ukrainian pastorals did Quiboloy have when you were there?
It's about 10, I think.
10. All right, including yourself. So 10. You and about nine
Yeah,
others.
About 10. Yeah, not if I will count. Yeah, it's about 10.
About 10. All right. And what do you think would happen if you refuse to have sex with Apollo Quiboloy? What do you think would happen?
Actually, we try to avoid this kind of service. But because when you believe that he is the Son of God, and you will do whatever he wants us to do. And if you afraid, if you will try to, excuse me, I didn't practice my English for a very long time.
It's all right.
If you will try to deny, they will punish you. And there is a lot of really psychological instrument that they will use on you, that even one day will not be enough to mention everything. They will punish and call us, scold us for a meeting, and put us in shame, that saying that we are ungrateful because pastor give us everything, and you just don't want to give, sacrifice your body like Jesus Christ sacrificed. And of course, they always will use the Bible as an instrument to convince us to do it. And they always, in the same time, they want us to twist our mind to feel that this kind of service, it's a very big privilege. So we will be willing to do it with our will. So he will say that because nobody can deny that there is a pastoral ministry, even Mr. Quiboloy himself. And everybody knows that only girls and young and beautiful women are included there. And everybody knows, nobody can deny, even the full-time workers, that we all live separate from any others, under the same roof. Our rooms are next to him, so he have free access to every room, to each room, and nobody can nobody know his life behind the door. That's why there's no full-time workers that know what is happening there. So when you try to, like for example, there was several times that I tried to deny this ministry of sleeping with him. Because we have a schedule, like, and he will be the one to put the schedule. Who will be the one tonight? And Jack Roy, in my time, it was her ministry to invite girls to pastor's room. And actually to invite the girls to this ministry, to pull them in his room. And
Miss Julia, you told us something very important. You said that nobody can deny that there was such a thing as a pastoral ministry. You told us that twice. And you said that if you refused to give those kinds of service, that sexual service, as you tried to do several times, that you would be punished, including
Yeah.
through psychological instruments. Yes, you
Yeah.
said that they could try to twist your mind. What kind of psychological punishments and what other kinds of punishments did they impose on you if you tried to deny this kind of sexual service?
Like as I said, there was a schedule, and there is one time I tried to deny because one day he said that I will change my rule, so I will not be the one to call you. Who will be the one tonight to present yourself to me? But I want you to be voluntarily to come to the Jack and to put yourself in the list. And me and some other Ukrainian girls whom I know, we we never go and put our names in the schedule. And then, because he said, Mr. Quiboloy said that I want to see those who are really doing that willingly and who is not. And me and some other girls have a separate room in pastoral ministry. And after he waited 1 week, 2 weeks, or about 1 month, I don't remember exactly, but there is such a time that nobody from us asked to do this ministry. And then he started to come by himself. Like, for example, he had the key of each room, and just in the middle of the night, he come to my room and have sex with me. Then, and you cannot run away. You cannot say I don't want, because if you say I don't want, he said you didn't overcome your flesh, and if you will not obey, you will go to hell, like things like that. And other night, we have all dinner together, and I feel that by the way he look at me, I understand that this night he might come. So I didn't sleep in my room. I go in other room, and in the middle of the night, he was looking for me, and he find me in girls in the room. The girls live all together. So because in my mind, I thought that he will not come if we are many, but he come and he said, "You have 5 minutes to come back in your room. And if you will not come, you will have a problem in the morning." So different kind of instrument they used. I know there's like, for example, other girls who said that, and also me, I use this as an instrument. Like, for example, it's the time to serve. And I will say, I cannot do it because I have menstruation. And because we are mature, they didn't do these cruel things that they have done to the girls that they're younger. So Atijag came to the girls and said, I want to check your panty, if there is napkin or not. And the girls just remove their pants to prove that they're not lying. So of course he know that we are not willing that to do it, and we are forcing that to do it, and we don't want to do it. But
Yes.
he likes the most girls he like. It's those who try to deny, because he said, I want you to overcome your flesh. I want you to be on the next spiritual level when flesh are nothing to you. Like, for example,
And after all, you said that Pastor had free access to the rooms. He even had keys to the rooms. So about the schedule that you mentioned, Miss Julia, do you mean Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? It was a young girl or a young and beautiful woman. No rest day. Every day there was somebody scheduled.
yeah, there's for every night he never stay alone. And all the girls that were living in pastoral area, they like they have this kind of ministry. Someone have just several times to experience that, and some have to do it like all the time, like almost every week.
And you also mentioned another important thing earlier, Miss Julia, that nobody, even some of the full-time workers, nobody knows pastor's life behind those doors, behind the doors of the pastorals. You also mentioned Jacqueline Roy as your groomer. How did she groom you?
At first, it's a long story, because in order to do it, it's not a very quick way. So I will try to make it short.
Yes,
Like
please.
when I was in transfer to a pastoral area and I started to live with Atijag, I was very new. I even didn't know English, any word of English. And he was very in hurry to pull me in pastoral to pastoral ministry. And there was one time at the jug it was night, and she called me and she said like he wants to talk to you. And I came to his room, and he have Russian Bible. He opened Russian Bible, and because he cannot talk to me in English, and he said, I want you to read this verse in Russian. So I opened this Bible, and there was a verse, I don't know how to say it in English, translate in English. It's about, there's a scripture about to sacrifice your body. And he was trying to ask me, are you ready to sacrifice like your body? And he put his finger on the bed, because we were sitting on the chair before the bed. And he showing to the bed, and he started to pull me. And then I was, because I was very new and everything that I know about him was good. And I get scared, I get shocked, because like in my mind, this is really what he mean by pulling me to the bed. And I ran away from the room, and there's a garage in front of Bible school. But in that time there was Sampayan, a big place with a lot of stuff. And I ran away, because where I can go? I'm in other country. Where I will go? So I ran away, and I hide myself there. And I was just crying, because I was thinking how to go home. I get a problem, and who can help me to go out of this? And then when it's already morning, of course, I have to appear where I cannot stay there forever. And when I come back to the room, Atijag was very mad to me. and they said that you run away from him, you don't have any respect to the Son of God, and they start to let me feel that I'm guilty. And then I guess they realized that it's too early for me. I'm not ready yet. I'm not still not brainwashed that I can do it. So they explained that. They called me again and they said, "You don't worry. This is you," because they saw my reaction. They know that they cannot do it. I will just go away. And they said, "You don't worry. You didn't. You help me this word.
Misunderstood?
You misunderstood.
Oh.
He just want to trust try your faith to know if your motive of coming here are really real. And they again use the verse of the Bible when Abraham sacrificed his son, and he said it was just like what he used to you, and this example.
Miss Julia.
It comforted me, and I said, "Oh, okay," because and then I again start to think good about him. Then the next level, we have a dinner, like few maybe weeks. Again, the next level, we have a dinner, and I have trauma in my back, and I was just talking like I have pain in my back, and Mr. Quiboloy, he put a joke, as I thought in that time. He said, "Don't worry, I have a healing hand. I will do massage for you, and you will be healed." And I was just laughing because we thought it's a joke. But when the night came, in the middle of the night, Atachak came with pastor to my room, and I was just sleeping. And he said, you said you have back pain? He want to massage you." And I said, no, I'm okay. I was just joking. He said, "Don't worry, just trust, because it's a big privilege if he will pray on you." And I said, okay. And I just lay down. She turned off the light and she go out from the room. And then Mr. Quiboloy came and he started to massage my back. And of course, I didn't feel comfortable, but I also cannot escape. And after that, he started to move his hands lower to my back. And I get scared. I said, "No, I don't have pain there. Please don't do it." And he said, just relax, like things like that. And again, I ran away from the room. Again, I hide. Then the next morning, they spoke me again. Like, he wanted to pray on you. He wanted to heal you. And you just go away. So little by little, really, I cannot mention all, but I want you to get the point.
Miss Julia,
There is a lot of trick that they were using.
Miss Julia and colleagues, the minority leader has to leave. Salamat kaayo, Senator Coco, for attending. Miss Julia, before my last follow-up question to you at this point, I'd just like to quickly ask Miss Jacqueline Roy. Miss Roy, quickly lang po at this point, narinig nyo yung mga sinabi ni Miss Julia. Do you confirm what she said? Inaamin nyo ba yung mga sinasabi niya na kayo daw ang nag-groom sa kanya para kay Pastor?
Good afternoon po, Senator. I want to invoke my right to remain silent, and I'm also invoking my right against self-incrimination since nasa korte na po ito. Salamat po.
Alright, babalikan na lang po namin kayo para sa ilan pang mga tanong mamaya. Miss Julia, just for a last question from me at this point. Miss Julia, you sent us a copy of an audio file that came into your possession. Now, noting that the Philippines Republic Act number 9208 as amended grants immunity from liability to a victim of human trafficking who transmits a recording involving a violation of that law, and noting further that this audio file had been also circulating already on the internet, the committee will play this audio file now. So please stay with us, Miss Yulia, while we play the audio file.
I was about
ang makagamit sa inyo ang anak lang. Walay lain, walay kabubuto niya. Ikaw, panik, may number 1 niya. Pag gilapas ni mo, imo gilapastangan ang balaod. At yun kang ulay ko kaluoy, pinagi sa duha o tulo ka saksi. Nabingwit na satanas doon. Gapakita sila sa inyo sa internet, malipayon sila, no? Ganong gapakita pa man sila diyan, malipayon sila. Kaya di sila malipayon. Kato sila, gukuro na ko to. Abilag, tapos sa ila. Pabayaron ko sila tanan. Kaya naiutang sila sa ministry nako, naiutang sila sa kingdom. Bubayad to sila madali, madugay. It will take 5 years, it will take 10 years. It does not matter. Basta natatutok sa ilang angel of death. When the opportunity presents itself, patay sila. Pila nakapastoral na naigo nga tapad sa kuha. Iya pa ninyo. Di man niya kung mapasakitan, membro lang. Pagka nakik-contact ng lalaki niya, nakik-sex ka na sa iya. Yatag mo na mong kaugalingon sa iya. Pag sa internet, nag I love you ka na, yatag mo na mong kaugalingon sa iya. Dato ko, nagsali ko sa imo, yatag na kong gugman ako sa imo, gitraidor ko nimo. Driver, gitraidor ko nimo. Kung sa'yo akong buhaton. Dato ko, para mabawi akong tungo kung sa'yo akong buhaton. Ikaw ugang driver, patyon ta ka. Siguraduhin na ako, mamatay mo doon. Dito pa ako makabawi sa akong tungo. Mabita ang Muslim, doon ay honor killing. Dili na mo katalikod ang ministry. Pwede mo mga matay. Pero yung pagtuo, pwede mo matalikod. Ginana kay gusto ninyo matalikod. Sulod daw mo NPA, be. Bisang kadre ka lang, sulod ka NPA. Pagka naka-lecture na kapila sa ilaha, di ka nakagawas. Pag di gawas ka, bukurong ka, patyon ka. Sulod mong mafia, sulod mong gobyerno sa Amerika. Pag ipasulod ka diya sa ilang CIA, ipasulod ka sa ilang FBI, ipasulod ka sa ilang NSA, nakabalo na ka sa ubang mga confidential niya. Tapos kalit-kalit mo talikod ka, di ka gukuron. Inani ang commitment na ako sa inyo. Wala na'y makatalikod sa inyo. Wala na'y makatalikod sa inyo. Wala na'y pwede mo traidor sa inyo. Pag nag-traidor mo, na'y magukod sa inyo. Patay jud mo dito. Kapahamakan ang inyong giyantuan. I-implement ko na ito na. Anong unahunaan ninyo na ba? Pakalaluman ninyo ang pangunahunaan ninyo sa ministry na ako. May pamilya mo. Ikaw pa ni, may inahan ka din, may isuon ka. Katong isuon ni mo. Pag tinang mo isuon sa gawas. Kung doon natanan, wala ibili na. Inana ka lalo ang commitment na ito, Dre. Pero nag-communicate mong lalaki, pagkatapos mag-report mo sa kuwa, Dre. Samtang niya mo sa akong balay, ang gusto na ako, Dre, may yung tumanon. Dili mo pwedeng mutuman, Dre, sa gusto ninyo, nga dili na ako gusto. Kapuyon, kumagyo na kanimal, anak putang satanas, Dre, ba? May ibog ko ng mga moros, ng mga Muslim. Na yung mga babae sila magpa-prostitute sa ilang mga warriors. Para mawala ng stress. Ina na po ang iyong weakness sa lalaki. Ilabay ninyo na kaya di na nakabubutol sa mahan. Kaya gihin mo na mong pastoral para sa anak lang mo.
Miss Yulia, before my questions to you about this audio file, Mr. Quiboloy, huwag kayong mag-alala. Magkakaroon din kayo ng oportunidad na magresponde. Didigin lang natin mga kasama lahat ng mga victim survivors testimonies muna. At bahagi din po ito ng karapatan nyo marinig yung mga akusasyon laban sa inyo bago kayo magresponde. Yulia, is this the file? Is this the audio file that came into your possession?
Yes.